Hey everybody, Deplorable Bobby here. This is going to be my 8 o'clock Sunday night 8 o'clock live stream. I try to do this every week, and hopefully we'll get some people in here in a minute. I'm just going to sit around here and let's see what happens. We don't have anybody showing up, so there we go. We got somebody, and it is Willman 757 and Yo Mama. Dangerous Freedom, my brother from Arizona. Good to see you, man. So I got 3 of you in here, and that's fantastic. It was within the first couple of minutes. And Danielle Perry, hello to you too, girl. Good to see you. I'm glad you're all here. So for the first couple of minutes, we're just going to say hello to everybody. Hey, Spirit Talker. Spirit Talker's sitting not too far away from me, and he's sort of monitoring me and make sure that I don't mess up too bad. And every now and then he might slip me a little note when I get off topic. But I want to say it again. Willman 757, Yo Mama, Dangerous Freedom, Danielle Perry, and of course my friend Spirit Talker. Hopefully there'll be more people coming into the chat here in a few minutes, and I don't want to get too carried away before we get a couple more people. Little Drummer Girl, glad you're here. I'm glad to see you popping up, and the more that come in, let's see, I've got 3, 6, 9, let me get 10 people in here, and I'll get started. Got 2, 4, 6, 8. We need 2 more people in here, and I'll start my live stream. Okay, there's number 9. DJT 2Q2Q. Hello, Patriot. Glad you're here. We need 1 more. So let's get 1 more, and I'll get started because I've got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. We're going to cover stuff on abortion, as always, and we're going to cover reparations for the black people. We're going to cover the new laws on the Second Amendment and what they're trying to do with that. And we're going to talk about the border news. And we're also going to talk about the homeless in California. So we need 1 more person to come in here, and we'll have 10, and I can get started. While I'm waiting, I want to let everybody know that today, actually it was last night, I achieved my 1,000th subscriber, and I'm going to tell you that has been a landmark for me. It's been something that I've been striving for since I started this channel, and I want to thank so many people because I didn't do it by myself. The subscribers got me the 1,000 subscribers. It was not me. It was people like Tony Patriot. Tony Patriot went out of his way, and he sort of set me on the right path on the best way to get subscribers, and subscribers that count, subscribers that actually come and listen and participate in your videos and live streams. That's why I've got some of you people here now. You're new to me. Common Sense with Elizabeth. Good to see you. There's my number 10 or 11, so it's looking great. But Tony Patriot, if you don't have Tony Patriot, go to his channel. Look him up. I don't see DM or Ashley in here yet, or Jervis, maybe a mod. There's forbidden information. Hello, Michelle. If you can throw out some URLs, it'd be really great for Tony Patriot. Debbie C. Debbie C has a Grow channel, and last night when I got off with Tony Patriot, I had 991 subscribers. So Tony got me a big jump there, but I was still 9 away, and I went on her live stream, and within about 10 minutes, I had 1,002. And so Debbie C, thank you so much for helping me to grow. And the good part about it is, Debbie C. and Tony Patriot and the channels that I go to, these grow channels, you do it the right way. You go to that channel, you watch a video in full, you leave a comment, you hit the like button, and you hit the bell icon, and you let those people know that you're there. And once you do all that, you're locked in. No matter how long YouTube goes, you will not be one of those people who gets washed away and disappear over time. That's how everybody who has any subscribers knows that every day you may gain 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 100, but you're going to lose a few in the process. And that's just the way YouTube works. So, okay, I got plenty of people in here. Nice Armory, thank you for being here, my friend. I was just fixing to give you a shout out. I want to tell you about History B and DM. Saturday nights at 9 o'clock, they have a killer show. History B is a history teacher, and DM is the best mod that ever walked the earth. So they get together and they have a great show. So you need to check them out on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Forbidden Information. Michelle at Forbidden Information and I are on a quest. We're going to go to D.C. sometime between now and September or even October. We don't know for sure. We're trying to get the funds up to go now. But we're going to go and we're going to talk to some senators. We're going to talk to some congressmen. We're going to knock on doors. We're probably going to get pushed out of the way a lot. But either I'll be filming her or she'll be filming me. And we're going to have several days there in D.C. to see if we can get some answers to the hard questions that we're going to ask. But you have to remember, Jervis. Jervis is also a great mod, and he has some really good content. Check him out. We've got Spirit Talker. Spirit Talker is a good friend of mine, and he's actually family. But I'm going to tell you, if it weren't for Spirit Talker, I wouldn't be doing this channel. He has been the voice in my ear that has kept me going when I thought that I didn't have a chance on ever doing a live stream with anybody like you, Stephen Corson. So glad you're here, my friend. Stephen Corson, he is a great guy. You got to check him out. He is pro-life, just like Michelle and I. I haven't had time to talk to Michelle yet about Stephen, but I want to talk to her about him and see if we can't partner with him as well, because we are all pro-life and we all want to save our children. And Stephen Corson, my friend, you are a fine Christian man, and I love your passion. I love your passion. So here's what we got going tonight. Haven't quite finished yet. Disabled Vet's Perspective. He comes on at 7 o'clock on Sunday night, and I follow him. But I want to tell you, you got to check him out. If you're a veteran, he's got good information. He and Belinda together have a great show. So check him out if you're a veteran. And if you're not, check him out anyway. Florida Jim. Florida Jim's always got something that'll poke you in the ribs. He is a funny guy, but he's always dead on with his topic. He knows what he's talking about. He's a smart man. He just likes to put a little twist on everything and make it a little bit funny. So check out Florida Jim. Nice Armory. Nice Armory, we've missed you the last few weeks on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and we wondered where you were. And today you came back, and we were so happy to see you. We enjoy your show every Saturday and Sunday morning, and I have coffee with you every weekend. So I'm glad you're here. The Real Brooklyn, glad to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you before, but you're welcome. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you'll know when I go live. And I promise you, I'm going to bring you the truth. Lee, Red Nation under God. Thank you for being here. You're also a new person. Thank you. Katrina Stafford, thank you for being here. I haven't seen you before. So we've got a lot of people in here for the first time. So people, show some love. Grab these people up. Talk to them. Get to know them. Welcome these people into the Patriot family. And speaking of the Patriot family, I have to mention Tony Patriot one more time. Tony Patriot gave us the name, the Patriot family. And if you're part of the Patriot family, you know who you are. Everybody's welcome. Darwin, glad to see you. I don't think I've seen you before. I'm telling you, this is going to be a great live stream, people. I've got some good information for you. So I'm going to get started. We got plenty of people in here. So I want to talk a little bit about that liberal state of Washington. And people, I'm going to tell you, I've got several topics tonight. I'm going to talk about abortion. I'm going to talk about reparations for the blacks. I'm going to talk about the Second Amendment. I'm going to talk about the border. And I'm going to talk about the homeless a little bit. So I've got a lot of topics to cover. I'm going to try to look back and forth. President Trump, glad you made it, brother. Good to see you here. I'm going to try to shout out every single person that's in this chat. If I can stop looking at my script long enough. So here we go, people. I want to tell you a little bit about the police in Washington State. They said an unarmed man, they wouldn't give his name. I looked all through the internet and nowhere could I find this man's name. But an armed man was shot and killed early Saturday morning after trying to attack a local ICE detention center in Tacoma, Washington. The unidentified man appeared outside the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma with a rifle. He also had incendiary devices, and he threw those devices at the facility as well as nearby propane tanks. Well, the officers responded around 4 a.m. when this all took place, and they called out to the man before shots were fired. Well, needless to say, the man died, and the 4 officers involved were placed on administrative leave, which is always the case when there's an officer-involved shooting. But the shooting took place hours after a protest at the detention center over planned mass deportation raids around the country. And by the way, from the last I saw, those deportation raids started today. From what I can understand, they've been preparing for this for a while. I don't know why they postponed it for a day or two, but it gave these people who should be deported probably time to hide. But I have a feeling that this whole deportation thing is probably going to be a very good success for Donald Trump in the end. So let's just sit by and let's watch what happens, and then we'll give him a critique when it's all over. But you know, the shooting took place just hours after these people protested. And I want to know, why would anybody protest the deportation of an illegal alien back to their home country? Well, to do that, you must be a social justice warrior, I guess. Disabled Vets Perspective. Good to see you, buddy. I gave you a shout out a minute ago. Battle Droid. I just saw you here. Thank you, brother. I'm telling y'all, people, the love that y'all are showing me means so much to me. It really does. There's a group called this GEO. I looked everywhere and I can't find what that means. It's an abbreviation for some group. But anyway, this group runs the 1,575-bed Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, Washington. Get this is so crazy. Last year, a federal judge ruled that Washington State could sue the GEO group, and they have to pay minimum wage to the detainees for any work that they might do, to include cleaning their own room or cleaning the bathroom or anything else that they do, or if they worked in the library or if they worked in a wood shop or anything. These people said they deserved minimum wage for every hour they work. Since when do we give prisoners money for doing work because they're detained? Give them something to do. Or just let them sit in their dad-blamed cell and don't let them work. Don't make them work. The hell with the wood shop. Get rid of the metal shop. Get rid of the library. Let them sit in their cells if they want to get paid to mop the floor. People admit, this is crazy. Paying prisoners for any and all work that they might do while they're incarcerated. It makes no sense. But and I got to quit saying that. I was thinking today, I said, I say a lot. So I got to quit saying that quite so much. But while President Trump and others defended the immigration authorities, most of these demon rats have called to restrict federal funding for ICE or to abolish ICE altogether. They say, let's get rid of ICE. Let's let the immigrants pour in. Let's stop detention. Let's give them the right to vote as soon as they cross. Let's sign them up. And let's make sure that we tell them to vote for the Democrats. Even if they don't know English, they'll know the word vote Democrat, I guarantee you, before they leave the border. These demon rats will have them so psyched up with freedom, and all they have to do is vote Democrat. But I'm going to tell you about another demon rat from hell. She's from Michigan. Her name is Rashida Tlaib. She said this just last week. She said that her and her colleagues composed of AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and this other idiot, I got her name wrote down here somewhere, I'm not really sure where it's at, but she's another demon rat. There's 4 of them. And she and her colleagues still support defunding ICE. She and her freshman cohorts tried blocking the funding to ICE and Customs Border Protection, accusing authorities, get this people, of killing innocent children. Can you believe that? These people actually accused our Border Patrol of killing children. Now, they're the ones who kill the children. They're the ones who are pro-abortion. They're the ones who fight to have abortion up until birth. They're the ones who fight for dismemberment abortions. So let's not confuse the issue here, people. It is what it is. And what it is they are liars, they're deceivers, they're cons, and they are evil to the core. And if you've ever bitten into the core of an apple, you know it's not quite so sweet. But I want to talk a little bit about something that my buddies here on the left side who believe in our Second Amendment, like Dangerous Freedom, and I'm sure there's many more. Dangerous Freedom's a good friend of mine. We talk about the Second Amendment a lot. But here's what that idiot governor out of Virginia, Governor Ralph Blackface, remember him? He was the one that was caught in blackface. Ralph Blackface Northam. He took a second bite at the golden apple in an effort to implement sweeping gun control laws on every single person in Virginia. And if he had his way, it would be every person in America. See what's happening, people? One by one, they're falling in line on this gun issue. They're going to fight us tooth and nail all the way to the Supreme Court and back and forth on this gun issue before it's all over. You and I know all about the anti-Second Amendment radicals and the love of the term assault weapon. They love to say the word assault weapon. No matter what kind of weapon it is, it's an assault weapon. You know, because it scares those too ignorant to know better. People like Dangerous Freedom and myself and most patriotic Americans know what an assault weapon is, and an assault weapon is not a semi-automatic weapon. An assault weapon is a fully automatic weapon that fires 120 rounds in 60 seconds, okay? It's not a semi-automatic weapon to where you have to pull the trigger every single time it's fired. It's not an assault weapon. It looks like an M16, but it's not. That's why it's named an AR-15. Duh. Democrats, get it through your head. But you know, the big deal is to qualify bump stocks as machine guns. Well, they were successful in getting bump stocks banned, and I think that was a bad move on the President of our United States. I think that he was too quick to jump in there. I think he was too quick to ban bump stocks. I think he should have took a little more time. He should have got a little more information and understood the fact that a bump stock does not make an AR-15 into an automatic weapon. Granted, it may allow you to fire a little quicker, but in no way can you heat up that barrel by using a bump stock like you can an automatic weapon. With an automatic weapon, using 30-round clips, you can get that barrel doggone glowing red. You're not going to do that with a bump stock. So there we go again. More gun control. You know, the ignorant people are the ones the gun grabbers talk to. And I love that term, gun grabbers. These idiots actually believe that assault weapons and gun violence are the same thing. Every time you hear assault weapon, you also hear about gun violence. It's synonymous to these idiots who don't know anything about the Second Amendment or about weapons at all. The Great Dirtbag, great to see you, my friend, and thank you so much for your kind PayPal donation. I'm trying to every now and then glance over at the chat, and I'm glad that I saw you, the Great Dirtbag. The Great Dirtbag supports many, many Patriot channels. So people, if you see him, give him a shout out. And Jervis is here. Jervis, my brother, I'm so glad you're here. You're a great mod. Tony Patriot, I see you, brother. Good to see you here too. It was great to see you last night. And I'm going to tell you, Tony, you grew my channel by about 38 or 40 subs last night. And I thank you. Without your help, I would not have gotten over 1,000 subs last night. Big shout out to you, Tony Patriot. You're a true friend and a true patriot. You know, this Governor Blackface Northam up in Virginia, he says 10-round magazines are okay. There's nothing wrong with them. But he says that 11 in a magazine, or 10 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, 11 rounds is far too many. So how do you go from 10 rounds being okay to where 11 rounds is just totally unacceptable? People, it's all this mind games these gun grabbers are trying to play on the idiot people who don't understand. The difference between 10 rounds and 11 rounds is 1 bullet. Come on, people. Anybody can do simple first-grade math. But evidently Northam has a problem with that because he jumps from 10 to 11 and he thinks it's a catastrophe. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say, except for this. Now they're trying to push suppressor laws. Now they're trying to ban suppressors. Suppressors are nothing more than a little deal that fits on the end of your barrel, and what it does is it stops a flash. It suppresses the flash from the weapon. Say you're in an area like Dangerous Freedom, out in the desert, when the heat's 112 and everything's a tinderbox. Well, you might not want to be throwing fire out of the front of your weapon to catch, I don't know if they got tumbleweeds or not, but to catch the sagebrush and other stuff on fire. So you use suppressors, and all that does is suppress the flash. But what these idiots think, they think that suppressors means it's a silencer. It is in no way, in no shape or form, a silencer. It's not like the movies, like in James Bond, they screw that thing on the end of the pistol and they That's not how a silencer works. A silencer still does not silence a gun. It silences it a little bit. But believe me, if you're within 100 yards, you'll hear it. But these flash suppressors have nothing to do with silencers. They are simply that. They're a flash suppressor and nothing more. But yet here they are trying to ban it, trying to do anything to undermine our Second Amendment. Of course, the gun grabbers claim that universal background checks will save lives. I don't know about you. When I got my concealed carry permit, I had to have a background check. It took about 5 minutes. It was no big problem. And but here's what some of the truths are about background checks. 90% of all criminals avoid background checks. And you know it to be true. There is no good criminal, if that's not an oxymoron, but if there's one criminal who registers his weapon, he's a fool. Plain and simple. He's a fool. Why tie yourself to something that you're going to use to commit a crime? That makes absolutely no sense to me. And hello, DM. Thank you for throwing these people's URLs out there. I appreciate it. 95% of background checks that are denied falsely. They deny people a gun permit for no reason at all. But I'm telling you what it is, people, and Dangerous Freedom again will jump in there, and probably Knight's Armory as well. This is all about the red flag laws, people. If you haven't heard about the red flag laws, well, it's pretty much anything in any way that they want to attack the Second Amendment. Universal background checks pave the road for a gun owner database. That's what they want. They want a gun owner database. They want to know who owns a weapon, what kind of weapon you own, and how many weapons you do own. You see, that's all this is about. More control over gun owners. And they'll use it later. Believe me, they will use it later in some kind of conjunction with other red flag laws. Warhorse, good to see you, brother. I just saw you here. History B, I know you're here. Good to see you. Common Sense, Elizabeth. I'm going to call your names out probably 1 or 2 times, but that's great. Warhorse, I'm glad you're here. You're right. It's straight up big brother leftist crap. Dangerous Freedom says red flag laws are going to get people killed, and that's the truth. And I'm going to tell you, Dangerous Freedom educated me on red flag laws. I wasn't really too sure what they were all about. I was spending most of my time on the abortion issue and He's opened my eyes to what's going on with our Second Amendment, and I appreciate Dangerous Freedom, and I appreciate Liberty Smith. I haven't seen him, but I'm going to tell you, all these people in here, if you don't know them, check them out. Knight's Armory, History Bee, Warhorse, Dangerous Freedom, Disabled Vest Perspective, Common Sense with Elizabeth, DM, Big Jim at Knight's Armory. Remember him. Florida Jim. Check him out. Willem. I haven't checked your channel out. I don't know if you have content or not, but check out Willem 757. Great to see you here. Linda Carter. Haven't seen you before. Glad to see you here. People, I appreciate you for being here more than you'll ever know. My goal has been to have just a small success at this live stream stuff. And with you people making it a success, I'm blessed. I am totally blessed by each and every one of you that are here. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your effort, your support, and your encouragement. It means the world to me. I don't mean to plagiarize anybody, but I'm going to tell you, you're all good people. But you know, the big deal now in Virginia is they want to limit your gun purchases to 1 gun a month. Really? What's that all about? You could only buy 1 handgun a month. Well, I guess someone buys 2 guns a month, you're twice as likely to kill somebody. Does that make sense to y'all? Now, so I can't buy but 1 gun a month, because if I bought 2, I could kill twice as many people. I had no intention of killing nobody. Maybe there were 2 handguns there that I didn't have that I liked. Like I'm looking at a judge. I'm fixing to buy me a judge. And I think Knight's Armory, Big Jim carries a judge. And let me tell you, that's a piece of firepower, people. And it's not one that you want to conceal. I'll tell you that. But the insane idea that limiting handgun purchases to 1 handgun per month will prevent bad behavior. This idea lives in the minds of all the gun grabbers. So they restrict you to 1 gun a month, like that's going to hurt you. If you're like me, you probably have enough guns now to where you don't ever need to buy another one, but we still keep buying our guns. And Knight's Armory, I have every intention of getting in touch with you soon, and I want to get you to make me a Deplorable Bobby knife. And of course, I'm more than happy to pay for it. But you know, people with 2 handguns will not act more dangerous than they would if they only had 1. Maybe these demon rats are revealing more about themselves than they are about gun owners. Maybe they're showing their insanity. And people, you know they're insane. Someone who thinks that anyone buying more than 1 gun a month makes them dangerous is an idiot. I think maybe they have some deeper issues. Maybe they should be addressed by a psychiatrist. They act like they're out of their ever-loving mind, people. They support tougher penalties for having a loaded gun around a child. Okay. I had children. I always had weapons. And I taught my children at a very young age, don't touch. Believe me, if you teach a child not to touch something the right way, they'll never touch it. Because when they got old enough, I laid it in their hands. And I told them that. You can't touch it now, no matter what. And they never did. Because they were good kids and they minded their father. But I never had to hide my guns from kids. But they're saying that gun owners are just leaving their weapons laying around for toddlers, kids in diapers, to grab it and shoot themselves. Well, first of all, I don't know how many of y'all had fired handguns, but it takes a little effort to pull the trigger. Granted, maybe a toddler, I don't know, maybe a 3-year-old could grab it backwards with both thumbs and maybe could pull a trigger. I don't know. But I know a lot of handguns I've shot took a little bit of effort to pull that trigger. So I don't think a little toddler is going to be shooting himself, because most gun owners aren't going to leave their guns laying around anyway. If you're stupid enough to leave your gun within the reach of a child and it loaded, then you're an idiot. Gun safety always comes first. No matter what you've taught your child, gun safety always comes first. And they say, put your ammunition in a safe. Okay, I got my ammunition in the safe. Somebody breaks down my front door, coming in to harm my family. I've got my gun right here in my nightstand, but oh, wait a minute, I got to get my ammunition out of the safe first. Well, by that time, my 2 kids are dead, so is my wife, and I'm looking down the barrel of a gun myself. People, this is insane. Total insanity. But this is what the gun grabbers want to preach. Just like I said, this stuff will lead to people putting their ammunition and their guns in a safe, and when the time comes, they'll never have it, and they'll wind up dead or dying. You know, I just would ignore that law altogether, and I do. I ignore their laws. I'm not going to. Of course, in Georgia, we don't have any laws on ammunition. I've probably got a couple thousand rounds, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody bothers me. Boston girl, good to see you. I'm trying to give a shout out every now and then when I see somebody. Boston girl, I'm glad you're here. I've missed you. It's good to see you. You know, the idea behind this policy is to protect bad guys while using a toddler in a diaper as ammunition against us, to play on the emotions of these social justice warrior demon rats. They play on their emotions. They get them all fired up. Oh yeah, take away the guns because toddlers are being killed every day. That's just not the truth. Granted, there's gun accidents all the time, somewhere. But people, we don't have an epidemic of toddlers killing themselves with loaded guns because most of us are responsible gun owners. I'm going to talk just a little bit more about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to get out of here because I'm running out of time. The Second Amendment radicals want everyone to believe that these little diapered babies are killing themselves with loaded guns left laying around by irresponsible people. Remember this. They care so much that these little kids will kill themselves with a loaded gun. But yet, they preach abortion at every opportunity. All they care about is killing our preborn babies in the womb or even up until birth. See, people, this is what they do. They want to play on your heartstrings about a little diapered toddler, but they're not going to tell you about those millions of preborn babies who have been murdered through the act of abortion. How can they stand on one issue and not stand on the other? That's why me and Michelle and Stephen Corson as well. You cannot be a racist and be pro-life, because we're pro-life for every single child, no matter your race, your creed, your color, or your national origin. We don't care. We don't want preborn babies being murdered. And we stand strong on that issue. So I'm going to try to jump ahead just a little bit, and I want to change the topic. A recently introduced bill in Ohio will add scientific information about the development of unborn children to the state's public and charter school system curriculum. I want you to understand what I just said because I said that fast. They've introduced a bill in Ohio that will add scientific information about the development of the unborn and the state's public and charter school curriculum. So they're going to learn how a baby grows, which I think is fantastic. If we're going to have school-age girls having abortions, they need to understand the growth process of that child in their belly. They don't need to find out they're pregnant and all they hear is abortion, abortion. Philip Turner, glad to see you, brother. I just saw you pop up there. Katrina Stafford, thank you, my friend. Glad you're here. Man, you people, Kim in Georgia. Man, there's people, 12B, Georgia. There's so many people in here that I haven't seen, and so many that I welcome back. But this bill in Ohio, all it does is it makes the school systems teach preborn progression through incubation and birth. The bill is called HB 90. It's known as the Humanity of the Unborn Child Bill. Michelle, hear that? You might want to check this out. Humanity of the Unborn Child Bill will direct state boards of education and departments of health to create educational programming that provides accurate, scientific, verifiable information concerning the probable, anatomical, and physiological characteristics of the unborn, from inception or conception through the whole pregnancy. What better way to inform these young girls of what's going on? The Conservative Patriot, glad to see you. I haven't seen you in the last few minutes. And Pete the Patriot, good to see you too. I think I mentioned you, Linda Carter. JD Knight 7, glad to see you here, man. I'm blessed. It's just that simple. I am blessed that all of you are here. You know, the legislation will instruct the Department of Health to develop and maintain a pregnancy and child services database containing a list of agencies that offer services available to assist women through pregnancy and childbirth without mentioning abortion. This is fantastic news. Now we have an organization that's willing to walk these young girls through their pregnancies, explain it to them, tell them what's happening with their bodies and what's happening with the child in their belly. This is great news. It's great news. I promise you, it's going to reduce abortions. I don't know by how many, but it will help in Ohio, I'm sure. I'm praying that it will. The Department of Health will be directed to distribute educational materials, maternal health, including information about prenatal vitamins, nutrition, avoidance of drugs and alcohol during pregnancy, and resources for pre- and postnatal care. Ohio, I appreciate you for doing this. I hope that you have many young women use your services, but Planned Parenthood and our abortion services and our educators and our nurses in schools are preaching abortion to these kids. So with that grace of God, hopefully we'll stop some of them. You know, you learn about a baby's heartbeat after about 6 weeks. Fingernails start to grow at 10 weeks. At 20 weeks, They feel pain. You know, hopefully hearing this information and seeing it, you know, on the TV or diagrams or however they show this stuff at school, you know, will create a culture of life instead of the culture of death that the Democrats preach right now to our young kids. You know, Ohio requires sex education on STDs and emphasizes abstinence before marriage. But this bill, HB 90, takes it way beyond that. And so thank you again, Ohio. I'm not going to spend no more time on that. I've got a whole lot more written about it, but I'm running out of time. So I got to jump ahead a little bit if I can get my papers separated. We're going to jump one more time. And here's what we're going to talk about to end this live stream tonight. We're going to talk about everybody's favorite demon rat from hell, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Well, she's got some cohorts, you know. There's 4 of them. And this one lady from Massachusetts, I can't pronounce her first name, but her name's Presley. You hardly ever hear about her. But she's one of the 4 freshman congressmen who are making such a stink with Pelosi and the old guard demon rats. So here's what she's doing. She's at it again, people. You've probably already heard this, but I'm going to try to throw something in there maybe you haven't heard. AOC and her 3 freshman friends, we'll call them that, all they do is simply lie. They con, they try to destroy America as we know it, and they never tell you the truth. Never. She said that this administration has a policy of dehumanization implemented by President Trump and his administration. And it creates a tinderbox of violence and dehumanization again. She likes saying that word. To hurt people. And that's all that Trump wants to do, is to hurt people. See where she's coming from? She says I'm not really sure what she actually means by her comments, but then again, I don't understand anything that comes out of her lying mouth. She's going to say a few more things before it's over, but right now, Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, one of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's cohorts, she broke into tears while she was testifying before a committee about all of the atrocities at the southern border that she saw firsthand. Her and all 4 of these demon rats from hell who are fighting against everybody and refusing to do anything American. They scolded President Trump. And they scolded his whole administration for using the term illegal immigrant. You know, she said, I can think of some terms that describe the illegal aliens, and I'm sure you'll also know several of the terms. But she wanted them to call illegal border crossers, not illegal immigrants or illegal aliens or illegal hordes or just plain out criminals crossing the border. Because I'm going to tell you, people, and you know it in your heart, any illegal alien that crosses that border is breaking the law as soon as he steps into the United States. And the Democrats want to give him the right to vote as soon as he crosses that border. They want to give him asylum. They want to give him amnesty. They want to let him come in and keep coming in and keep coming in. The border issue is more important than a lot of people even think about. And I wish Trump would hurry up and build his wall. 12B Georgia, good to see you again, brother. But you know, the really funny part is Tlaib cried because she said that no one is illegal in America. No one. The term illegal dehumanizes and is an abominable comment. And it should never be mentioned because they are our immigrant neighbors. People, give me a break. I'm not backing off of the border. I'm not backing off of these 4 congressmen either. On that same panel that Rashida Tlaib was on, Republicans on the panel slammed Dems for downplaying the crisis on the southern border for years, and they have. And noted that the Dems opposed a bill funding humanitarian aid on the southern border that they have been streaming for weeks and weeks and weeks. So they get the $4.6 billion bill in front of them, and they vote no. Where is the sanity in that? For weeks, they holler humanitarian crisis, and all of a sudden there's $4.6 billion available, and they vote it down. But it was passed anyway because it was only those four demon rats from hell that voted against it. Even Pelosi was very upset with them. She called them out for their abstinence. You know, AOC and her buddies went down to the border last week, and I'm sure you've heard that OAC said that these people were having to drink out of toilets. Women and children were drinking out of toilets. And she said that she tried to turn the water on the sinks, and none of the sinks worked. So these people were told by the Border Patrol to drink out of the toilet. Do you believe that for 1 minute? There's no way in the world that happened. It's a blatant lie, and I'll shout it to the rooftops. AOC is a liar, and so are her cohorts. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and this, whatever her name is. I never can remember because she's a nobody. I'll talk real quick. I got a few minutes left. I don't want to piss anybody off, but people, I want to talk about something that's probably going to upset somebody. And that's the insane reparations for black people. You know, it's not just stupid. It's insane. And you know what insanity is? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, I say we don't do it the first time. If we don't start this mess, we don't have to repeat it years down the road. Because down the road, I guarantee you, like every other law like this has been passed, you know that years later, they come back and they want to change that to even more for them. And people, I don't owe a single dime to a single black person in America. I never owned a slave. My family never owned a slave. You want to talk about people that own a slave? How about Kamala? I slept my way to the top Harris. Relatives on both sides of her family owned slaves. How about that? Let's talk a little bit about who should really be paying reparations. You know, the people who should be paying these black people reparations, if by somehow a court would decide that they deserved it, which I would fight tooth and nail. I don't believe in reparations 100 years later or 150 years later. They were never put through slavery. And I'm going to tell you, the first black man in Virginia. I've got off of my topic, off of my papers, but I'm going to wing it. His name was Robert Johnson. He was a black man. He owned the very first black slave in America. And he was black. So he needs to pay reparations, if any reparations are deserved. Let me tell you, people, the people that need to pay reparations are those Africans, those tribes down there on Africa on the coast that would go inland and would attack the villages and would take the men and women and children, put them in chains, drag them like animals through the jungle back to the coast, put them on a ship and sell them to the white Spanish. So who needs to make reparations? Those, their own kind. Black people started slavery. They started it in Africa, and they started it in America. The very first black slave was owned by a black man in Virginia. Believe it or not. So people, I'm not worrying about reparations or paying anybody any money. Somebody wants to pay some money? Heck, pay me a little money. I worked all my hard life. I barely make enough to get by, but I do okay. And I want to tell you, I haven't even mentioned my PayPal account tonight. I'd like to remind you, I do have a PayPal account. I'm sure that somebody has put it up over the evening. I haven't been able to keep that much of a check on my chat. But if you think I deserve anything, heck, buy me a Coke. Send me $1. I'm trying to get money up, just like Michelle at Forbidden Information is, to go to D.C. I promise you, people, if we go to D.C., we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a little noise. And I promise you, I'm going to do my best to keep Michelle safe and not go to jail myself. So I'm looking forward to it. I've never rode a train. I'm planning on riding Amtrak to D.C., so that'll be an experience in itself. You know, I want you to remember our children. Remember the exploited and the trafficked and the abused. Remember those in the womb. Pray for them. You know, we as a people have become politically polarized and unable to build an effective movement to reduce abortion in this country. No matter how hard we try. They fight us back at every corner, tooth and nail. If you're interested, here are some of the ways to get involved in saving lives of babies from the atrocities of abortion. Be an advocate. Start speaking up. Start being pro-life and letting everybody know that you are. You know, churches and faith-based organizations are pretty much prohibited from talking about this stuff from the pulpit because they're a tax-exempt entity. So us as Christians need to talk to each other. We need to talk to our family and our friends and those that are unaware. We need to let them know the atrocities of abortion. And we need to let them know that it's wrong in society and it's wrong in the eyes of God. You know, support the Office of Social Justice because they support legislation that affirms that the unique values of human beings as image bearers of God. And that's what I was talking about. I condemn the atrocities and the destruction of any human being at any stage of development, from the point of conception until death. People, I just hit my 1 hour. I'm going to try to get out of here. I want you to remember I want you to remember Michelle at Forbidden Information. I want you to remember History Bee, Dangerous Freedom, Kim in Georgia, Little Drummer Girl, Tam J, Katrina Stafford, Warhorse, Tony Patry, 12B Georgia. Man, I'll tell you what, I'm so blessed to have you here. So before I go, I want to say one little short thing. Lord Jesus, Heavenly Father, go with us tonight as we end this live stream. Lord, go with these people who are kind enough to share their time with me. Lord, we know that you are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. You are the all of all and the creator of every one of us. I know that you sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross, and his blood covered our sins. Lord, we thank you for that. And Jesus, we thank you. We thank you for sitting at the right hand of the Father, making intercession for us continually as we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. Everybody, have a great night. I hope your week goes good. I love you. And we're going to get out of here. Man, it was a great live stream. I thank every one of y'all. Good night. And I'll see you Wednesday night on the live stream if I don't do a video before that. God bless. May God keep you safe. I love you all.